Newlands has absolutely erupted with joy. Breaking news, South Africa. Yes, South Africa have reached the final of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup with a thrilling 6-run win against England. It is history for a lot of reasons. The South Africa women's team have entered the final of an ICC event for the first time ever. And who would have thought at the very beginning of this tournament, about 2 weeks back, South Africa had lost to Sri Lanka by 3 runs. From that loss to now come to the final where they will take on Australia, it is a remarkable feat indeed. So, breaking news, people, for all of you joining us right now in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup, we now have our two finalists. Australia, who defeated India by 5 runs in the first semi-final at Newlands. Today, it is South Africa, the hosts, who have managed to beat England by 6 runs, and they have now qualified for the final for the first time in their history. The basis of this win for South Africa all began from that magnificent opening partnership that Laura Woolwart and Tasnim Brits had. Their 100 plus opening run stand put South Africa well on course. And Marizanne Kapp's blitz towards the end, 27 of 13 balls, with 2 boundaries in the last 2 balls, ensured that South Africa got to a very good total. In response, Danielle Wyatt and Sophia Dunkley got England off to a tremendous start, 53 in no time. Shabnim Ismail, she came on and got rid of both Sophia Dunkley and Alice Capsey. So that is why England were always going to play catch-up. But Nat Siva Brunt and, if you have to look at it, Heather Knight, these two held the key. Nat Siva Brunt was looking in great touch when Ayabonga Kaka came on and changed the entire complexion of the game in the 18th over. 3 wickets. And that was about it for England. They just could not get close to South Africa. Although Marizanne Kapp conceded a 6, it was far too late for England to make any sort of comeback. And we have to also acknowledge that during the middle overs, it was Nadine de Klerk that managed to dry up the runs. When both Dunkley and Capsey fell, it was Nadine de Klerk who managed to really ensure that England had to play a big asking rate in that situation. Now, if you look at the entire broader context of this, how big is this for South African cricket? Massive. The South African women's cricket team have managed to do what the men's team have never managed to do in the 21st century. I'll come to the broader context later, but let us first pay tribute to Shabnim Ismail. Remember, she is South Africa's veteran, and she's always visualized that she would want to come to the Newlands cricket ground in front of a packed house in an ICC World Cup semi-final and final. And look what has happened. She has managed to ensure that South Africa are in the final for the first time. We also have to pay tribute to Ayabonga Kaka's 4 for 29, including 3 in the 18th over. This is not the first time that Ayabonga Kaka has done it against England. You would remember in the 2020 ICC World T20 match that was held at the WACA in Perth, it was Ayabonga Kaka's 3 for 29 and Dane van Niekerk's 46 that gave South Africa their first win against England in the T20 World Cup. 3 years later, on a grander stage, an undefeated England came into this tournament as one of the favourites. They have been knocked out by a South Africa team that is staging a phoenix-like resurgence from the ashes. Why is that? When they lost to Sri Lanka by 3 runs, they were already facing a stiffer challenge. After that, when they lost to Australia in Berha, that was the time when they felt that we have to ensure that we do not slip up against Bangladesh. Luckily, New Zealand did them a favor by beating Sri Lanka, and that was how New Zealand got eliminated, and so did Sri Lanka. When they beat Bangladesh, there was still a faint sliver of hope. And that is when they came into the semi-final very determined. 2 brilliant performances. Ayabonga Kaka's 4 for 29 and Tasnim Brits 68 of 55. And on top of that, 4 catches. What a brilliant effort from a very interesting cricketer. Tasnim Brits was actually a javelin thrower. If for all you people who want to know who is Tasnim Brits, she was a javelin thrower and she had actually won gold in the 2007 Youth Olympics in javelin. But unfortunately, a road accident ensured that she could not continue her career in javelin, and that is why she chose cricket. And what a difference she has made. Tasnim Brits, 68 of 55, backed up by Laura Woolwart, who played superbly the anchor role to perfection and went past 1,000 runs. She will really be the standout player. Now I will come to the broader context as to why this is massive in South African cricket. We all know that the men's team is grappling with a lot of problems. Inability to win an ICC event despite being touted as the favourites so many times. That is a major problem. And as I had mentioned, 21st century, the women's cricket team have achieved what the men could never ever do in an ICC event, reach a final. Look at the men's team. 2000, they were knocked out in the semi-final of the Champions Trophy by India. 2002, again by India in the Champions Trophy. 2003, World Cup did not make it past the group stages. 2004-6 in the Champions Trophy did not have much of an impact. 7 World T20 and World Cup did not make it past the semi-finals and got knocked out in the Super 6 stage. 10, 9, 11, the choke sequence continued. 12 and 14 yet again did not make it. 15, in the most heartbreaking circumstances, they got knocked out in the 2015 semi-final. Inspired New Zealand. 17, the sad story continued. 19, yet again. So South Africa's team, they have found, the men's team in particular, have found ways to get out of tournaments in the most controversial and the most, you may say, confounding way. But this women's cricket team, South Africa women's cricket team, have regenerated hope in this country. Remember, in 2020, they were very unlucky that they lost by 5 runs thanks to the DLS method. They needed 98 in 13 overs, but unfortunately, they could just manage 92. And they came up against a very determined Australian team who were just too good on their day. Remember, it is Australia versus South Africa. Perhaps it is a divine providence that South Africa's jinx ends with a team that they always have had a very big inferiority complex against. South African men's players have always acknowledged that they had this kind of asphyxiating inferiority complex that they wanted to do well against Australia. They couldn't do it. They always stumbled at the final hurdle. Now this women's cricket team can dream big. February 26th at 6:30 p.m. IST, Newlands is going to be so partisan that you'll wonder whether Australia can actually win their 6th T20 World Cup. If it doesn't happen and if South Africa manage to win this, it is going to be a momentous occasion in the history of South African cricket, because 1998, the first Champions Trophy, that was the only time the South Africa men's team have managed to win. 92, rain rule. 96, quarterfinal. 1999, who can forget that epic semi-final in Edgbaston? There have been generations of players who have been hurt in this entire process, and that is why now this South Africa women's team is going in an area where they just could not have dreamt of a couple of years ago. Denied in the 2020 World Cup semi-final by an absolutely determined and ruthless Australia. Now, in 2023, in Newlands, they can possibly ensure that the Australian jinx ends. And if the women do it, then boy oh boy, then the men's cricket team could get galvanized for 2023. Whenever they have made it to the final of a major ICC event, they actually have a 100% record, folks. 1998, the first Champions Trophy, South Africa beat the West Indies, the men. Then in the Under-19 World Cup of 2014, they reached the final where they defeated Pakistan. So, in a way, whenever South Africa can reach a final, they can then dream big. They can do it actually. So, congratulations to the Protea women for putting up such a magnificent show. And England, on the other hand, yet again, Commonwealth Games, they slumped in the semi-final where they lost to India by a very small margin, and they couldn't even win a medal because New Zealand managed to win the bronze. Now, at this point in time, South Africa have eliminated England by 6 runs. Australia had eliminated India by 5 runs. So let me take just a couple of one finalist change, and Oz winning World Cup is constant. Ankit Kumar, you're not wrong there. I mean, see, Virender Kumar, one of our family members, has said 2010, 12, 14, 18, 20. It's always been Australia. And Australia are the gold standard. They are the alpha team when it comes to cricket, especially the women's thing. And yes, maybe South Africa can win it. Why not? I mean, it will be a momentous occasion, because remember, only West Indies and Australia, to a certain extent, even England, they are the only teams to have won the ICC World T20. South Africa, if they join them, and remember, West Indies, right out of the ordinary blue, they managed to beat Australia in Eden Gardens. Newlands, once again, South Africa could dream. They have the license to dream now. And if I look at the brunt wicket, was game changing. Akash Bharadwaj, of course, the Nat Silver brunt wicket was game changing in a way. I think the entire 18th over that was bowled by Ayabonga Kaka, that was a game changer. 3 wickets. But I think the initial damage that was done by Shabnim Ismail when she got rid of Dunkley and Capsey, when England had really stolen a lot of momentum, that stalled England in a big way. And that is why you look at it, it needed Kaka's 3 wicket burst in that final over of hers to ensure that England could not overhaul South Africa. But the game-changing over, I think, was the one that Ishmael did. Shirish Gole saying this will revolutionize SA cricket and women's cricket. Oh, I hope so. I really hope so, because South Africa cricket is at its lowest ebb at this point in time. If the women's team win it, boy oh boy, it is going to be spectacular indeed. Yep, Jex Tasman Brits 50 and 4 catches. Yes, she is the player of the match. Well deserved. And that partnership that she had, superb indeed. Then any other... in 2020, India had won matches and lost in finals. Australia, being the host, lost their first match and ended up winning. History might repeat again, hoping SA wins. Yes, I mean, it has been established that when the host nation hosts the first game, they always lose. India lost it in 2016, Australia lost it in 2020, and now South Africa lost it. So I will see one day, yeah, Pratish Ranjan, I want to see SA as world champions for better women's cricket. Yes, somewhere down the line, you have to ensure that the dominance ends. So one hopes South Africa can do it. So will Oz start favourites or home advantage for SA? See, Australia are the favourites, no doubt about it. But South Africa, with the home support that they're getting, the inspiration that they're feeding off from, too good indeed. And it'll be a very close game. I think Australia hold a slight edge, but don't be surprised if South Africa can win it. They can do it. This game was proof. And I'll take one final comment. England was in better position in India, at least 4 overs in terms of wicket experience. Ankit Kumar, it just needs 1 over to change things. In the game against Australia, India, Harmanpreet Kaur's run out changed the entire complexion. In this, it was Ayabonga Kaka's 3 wickets that changed the entire game. So you never know. That's why a semi-final. Crickmania, South Africa's aggression on the field helped them put a lot of pressure. This is something India lacked yesterday. Bang on. Spot on. That is the way I look at it. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We will continue to bring updates from the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. The final is on February 26th at Newlands, 6:30 p.m. IST. Join us for that. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to download the SportsTak mobile app. That's where you'll get all your information, Hindi and English. And also, they have highlights of the PSL as well. Thank you.